All right, we are off. Post number 2. Okay, I expect everybody might be a little bit offended by this one, but that's not my point. Just stick with me. So it was like, I don't know, sometime in the 90s, and I was at church camp, and I started really questioning, just as a matter of wanting to understand what's going on here. And I sat down at a picnic bench at the camp, surrounded by kids, and I said, well, how do we know? How do we know that the things in this book are real, speaking of the Bible? And the response was, well, because it's the Word of God. Well, geezy, it really makes it difficult to continue the conversation when you invoke the power of a deity, doesn't it? And I was like, but how do we know that this is the Word of God? And they said, well, because Pastor Bill told us. And I thought, well, geezy, I don't think a job position makes someone right. I don't know if that necessarily makes sense. And how do we even know that he knows what he's talking about? And they said, well, because he trained and he learned in the church. And I was like, I don't think that's how truth works. I don't think because an institution just exists that everything it says is true. I don't think that's how that works. And well, many, many years passed. And then something happened around 2019, 2020, and things started to get a little bit strange. And I remember thinking, something here doesn't add up. What is going on? And I went and I asked around. I said, what's going on? Why are we behaving this way? And the response was, well, because science. And I thought, oh, geez, it's really hard to continue the conversation when you invoke the power of a deity. But how do we know the science? What does that even mean? How do we even know what's right there? And they said, well, because the scientists. And I said, well, I don't think a job position makes you right. I don't think that's how truth works. How do we even know that they know what they're talking about? And the response was, well, because of the education system, higher education, Ivy League schools, federal institutions. And I said, well, shoot, I don't think an institution existing makes it right. And then I realized everybody needs dogma. What is dogma? It's a truth that cannot be questioned, kind of like a bad robot. And then I realized everybody needs dogma. Then you have two choices. Either you choose your family's dogma, or it will be chosen for you. So we created the Romero Commandments. You want to see them? Okay, not enough time. Next post.